Good afternoon. You are listening to the Drivetime show with Paula and Steph. Sadly, Steph is not with us once again, not feeling too good today. But don't worry, I am not alone. I am joined by...
Hi, it's Gwyn here from Feed the Hungry.
Welcome. Thanks so much for coming down. Have you had a good day?
Yeah, it's been quite an eventful day.
Yeah.
So, getting stuff ready for Liberia, Malawi and Zimbabwe and all over the place today.
Great. Well, we have a busy travelling man with us today in the studio from Feed the Hungry. As you've heard in our intro to the show, we are obviously connected with them. So we have some stories to hear from him later on today. Not later on today, in a few minutes, which I'm excited to hear about. Right after the 1975 This Is Chocolate. We'll be back in a minute. Thank you for tuning in. You are listening to Tea Time Chats with me, Paula Halliday. I'm here until 7 o'clock tonight, and we have a very exciting show for you. We have a couple of guests in, a couple of things that we have to tell you about events-wise, some songs to play, of course, lots of chats. But first, we are joined by Gwyn from Feed the Hungry. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Good. Great. So we've had Feed the Hungry in before a few times, and if you are a regular listener to our show, you will have heard us play the sort of clip or the Feed the Hungry ad that say that you sponsor our show, which is great of you. Thanks very much. We obviously really appreciate it. So it's great to find out a bit more about what you do. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then tell us a little bit about what you do at Feed the Hungry. What's that all about?
Sure. Going back to what you were just saying about sponsoring the radio show, Lucia started off by having 14 different radio stations around the world to broadcast the gospel. So we're very fond of radio programs and really appreciate the value of them. We love people here at Radio Plus. So what I do is I'm the operations director for Feed the Hungry. And I look after bringing in food and blankets and clothing and medicines to send out to children around the world and to refugees and to help in disaster relief when it happens. So quite a varied world that I live in.
Yeah.
Of shipping containers and going out to places and finding out where the need is most.
Great. So as Feed the Hungry, you're not just connected to one country, is it lots of countries? Yeah,
we're connected to about 21 countries, hundreds of projects in those countries around the world, from Nicaragua right across to Thailand and Cambodia, but mainly in Africa. So I've been out to Nepal and to Mongolia, so we've got little projects out there as well. We go out to where we try and choose and try and place ourselves in the countries where the need is greatest, and into the far-flung reaches of places like Ouagadougou. That's a wonderful name, isn't it?
Great name.
In Burkina Faso. Whether it's a blind school out there or somewhere up in the mountains, where they don't have a lot, and when like in Nepal, where they have earthquakes, when they lose their house, they lose everything.
Yeah.
So.
Great. And so you've recently been on a trip. Where have you been to?
Yeah, we've just come back a couple of weeks ago from Sofia and Athens. We've been supporting and doing a lot of work with refugees, Kurdistan, in Germany, and then we found really that the need was really desperate in Athens and along the actual route where people are trying to get through to Germany and Holland and Sweden. So we've been sending food out to churches out in Sofia and into Athens, and then working, using them as centres to distribute food to other churches and sort of mission groups around the town, so they can distribute the food in different areas. Sofia is very a small city in comparison to a lot of European cities. But a lot of the refugees are driven by entrepreneurial people, to put it mildly, from in minibuses and taxis from the borders over to Sofia, and then try to get over the borders into different places there. So they're hidden away, the refugees, in a lot of places, amongst the sort of Roma and Gypsy encampments around Sofia. So we're trying to partner with Roma churches there to actually get it out into the community and meet these people in their houses.
Yeah.
So it's very much a one-on-one type, where we're actually making food packs up and sending them out to families and meeting the families who are hosting these refugees on their way through. So that was it. Very interesting to be amongst them. So yeah, we've got some more food arriving there this week, and then from there I travelled over to Athens, so to Christian Centre run by Stavros and his wife, and a whole amazing team of people, where they'd converted the church basically into a massive warehouse full of clothing and food and blankets and shoes. So they retained a little room for themselves to hold their worship events, but the rest of the building has been converted into helping the refugees. They've got a school there so that the kids can learn English, and then they're making the food packs out for families who are out in the community, and then supplying different groups with food to make sort of canteen meals in different places around the city.
Yeah.
So that was what I was up to, and because of an airstrike I was out there longer. So maybe you heard about the out in Pyrrhus, the actual dock area. It's been a lot in the news.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of kids' work out there. So one of the biggest things is boredom for the kids. Stuck there for about 3-4 months now, unable to go anywhere. So it was a real shock to go into that area, because basically you were walking into warehouses with little dome tents, and there was barely enough room to put your foot in between each tent, and there were families that were sleeping in tents that were meant for 2 people.
Wow.
And there were just rows and rows and rows of these tents. And this was the beginning of summer when I was there, so what it's going to be like in July and August in those conditions is just going to be really, really difficult. Athens itself has just opened its doors to these people. They have been such a generous people to these refugees. Really amazing people. They say that in Athens that over 20,000 Athenians have food packs themselves because of the crisis that they have as a nation. So despite that, they're taking on board an amazing amount of people there in the middle of their own suffering. So, the people with a real generous heart, so it's amazing to be able to help them out. and to have blankets and knitwear and everything that people here locally in Coventry have donated, and to be able to take those as well. So that's been great to be able to
Amazing.
to do that.
Yeah, so a lot of people in Coventry, are they behind what you do and help provide the food and things that you take over?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially on the clothing side, we've had an amazing amount of help with clothing and shoes, because basically, you know, these people have run for their lives, you know,
Yeah.
with nothing but what they have on their backs, really, and they've had to give up a lot. They've had to spend a lot of money to get across as well, they're trying to be honourable in trying to support themselves with what little money that they have whilst they're there. So the amount that we can give them makes a big difference in their lives, to actually bring some comfort and help in a desperate situation.
Absolutely. And so obviously you were there and you were giving a lot of practical help to people. What is the response that you receive from the people there?
In some of them, it's real shock that they've been allowed to sort of come into there and into a different nation and have a sense of people opening their arms to them and showing them love and grace, and it's really made them think about God in a way that not as a religious thing, but they're saying, well, what's this love that you're showing us? You know, where's this coming from? Because this isn't just about being a Christian or being a Muslim or being, you know, one side or the other. You're showing us compassion and love and acts of, and they want to know more about this God who's doing this for them.
Yeah, amazing. Great, so we are going to cut really quickly to the travel and find out what's happening on the roads, but then we'll come back to you. I'm excited to find out a little bit more about how we in Coventry can get behind what you're doing and find out a little bit more about your trip. Thanks so much.
So if you'd like to send us an email on info@feedthehungry.org.uk or even ben@feedthehungry.org.uk. I'm sure Ben would love to hear from you.
Yeah, he's been on the show before.
He has, and we'll show you what, or talk to you about what you can do and where to send it, or, you know, we can come and collect it. We're just up the road a few miles, so we'll be very happy. We've collected a garage full of clothing from one person in Coventry. We've from a refugee centre where they've had too much stuff they've given to us, whilst we've given them beds and stuff like that. So we've been doing lots of swaps with different charities here in Coventry as well to use the resources. So that's been really good, working together with different organisations. We love partnerships because that way, you know, you can create more impact and you use your resources a lot better and a lot more cleverer. So that's my word of the day, cleverer.
Cleverer, excellent.
Yeah, there we go. So.
It's been great being on Radio Plus because we obviously have a lot of guests on my show who are from charities and things in the city, and a lot of people are so interested in this issue of helping refugees, and I know you were talking about the Refugee and Migrant Centre in Coventry, and you've linked with them, so it's really great to see how we as a city can practically get behind this and help out.
Yeah, well, hopefully Coventry will become a model for a city for the refugees, so that'll be great to see that flourish and be part of that.
Absolutely. Great. Well, sadly our time's come to an end, but thank you so much for coming in, and definitely come back again and tell us about more trips you've got planned or you're going on. It's great to find out what's happening. Thanks so much.
That's been brilliant. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Have a great day.